Statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Fred Itua, on Sunday acknowledged Akpabio's developmental strides in Akwa Ibom as governor between 2007 and 2015, adding that he would ensure that the same method is used to transform and reposition Edo State. Okwebolo gave the remarks on Saturday during a reception held in his honor in Ikot Ekpene, Akwa Ibom State. Okwebolo said Akpabio not only achieved so much in terms of legislation within a short period of time, but has also succeeded in leading a well-coordinated legislative arm that complements and serves to appropriately check and balance the executive for the good of Nigerians. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, in his speech, appreciated the governor for his humble disposition and people-oriented approach to governance, stressing that his humility to seek and learn from those who have successfully walked the path he currently walks in, an indication that he will succeed in governance. Ebonyi State Governor Francis Nwifuru has called on stakeholders of Ohauku local government area to ensure that peace completely returns to Effium community. Nwifuru, who made the call when Ohauku people paid him Christmas homage in his country home of Ferekpe Agbaja in Easy local government area, described Effium and Eza people as kith and kins, appealed to the warning groups to give peace a chance since government is ready to resolve the matter without bias. A statement issued on Sunday by his Chief Press Secretary, Dr. Monday Uzo, in Abakaliki, said in the preliminary findings that it was observed that some inmates who are in the correctional facility from the community for some criminal cases are now claiming to be detained because of the communal clashes, and stressed the need for thorough investigation before their release. The governor commended Ohauku people for their sustained collaboration and support to deliver good governance. Ondo Sector Command of the Federal Road Safety Corps says 13 persons lost their lives in a fatal road accident which occurred along Owo-Ikare Akoko Expressway, Abule Panu Village in the Owo local government area of the state on Saturday. The sector commander of the FRSC, Dr. Samuel Ibitoye, in a statement said that the accident claimed 13 lives of the commuters in the two buses, and the victims were burnt beyond recognition, while the only survivor of the crash sustained serious injuries. He also said his men and men of the police command, as well as the men of the state fire service, rushed to the scene to rescue the victims, but one person survived the accident, adding that the injured victim was taken to the Federal Medical Center, Owo, and the bodies of the casualties had been delivered at the morgue of the same hospital. Abducted Anglican priest Canon Olowolagba, who was kidnapped alongside his wife and two children, has regained freedom. The family was kidnapped on Sunday, December 22nd, along Ise Akoko Iboropa Road in Akoko North East local government area of Ondo State. Earlier, the Bishop of Akoko Anglican Diocese, Babajide Bada, who confirmed the incident on Saturday, said the abductors demanded 75 million naira ransom. However, the family was released by their captors late Saturday. Though details of their release were still sketchy as of the time of filing this report, the Commander of State Amotekun Corps, Adetunji Adeleye, confirmed that the family had regained their freedom. Kwara State Police Command has rescued 13 wedding guests who were victims of kidnappers in Idofi Igbana in the Oke-Ore local government area of the state. A statement signed by the police public relations officer Adetoun Ejire Adeyemi said the 13 victims were going for a wedding program in neighboring Kogi State when they were kidnapped by assailants on December 21st, 2024. The victims, comprising 3 females and 10 males from different communities in Kwara and Oyo states, as well as trailer drivers, were reportedly accosted by 6 armed kidnappers dressed in military and civilian uniforms on their way to Kogi State. Communities attacked by suspected terrorists on Christmas Day in Benue State have been deserted, while residents of the Itulu, Azege and Yev Yaya communities have fled the areas almost immediately after the attack. The three communities were attacked between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. during Christmas celebration, leading to the death of 11 people, while the kindred head of Ituli in Nkomon district, James Yengen, said nobody was in the affected communities anymore. Yengen explained that 2 people were still missing, while another 2 were recuperating in the hospital as of Saturday. Transmission Company of Nigeria has notified residents of the Federal Capital Territory about possible blackouts in some areas. A statement by its General Manager, Public Affairs, Ndidi Mba, TCN, said the engineers would conduct maintenance exercises at 2 transmission substations between Saturday and Sunday, and during the maintenance period, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company will not be able to supply electricity to customers in Gwawal. The company apologized for the inconvenience, noting that maintenance was performed as scheduled to ensure the optimal performance of the power equipment. Police operatives attached to the Jitata division in Karo local government area of Nasarawa State have raided a kidnapper's hideout and rescued at least 3 victims. A statement by the spokesman of the command, DSP Rahman Nansel, said the rescue followed information that a Volkswagen Sharon vehicle with 3 occupants traveling along the Kaduna-Kefi highway was attacked, and the victims whisked away to an unknown destination. The victims include Abdul Salam Shuaibu, Sani Shuaibu, and Blessing Okori. The statement explained that upon receipt of the information, the divisional police officer in the area, SP Zax Wambai, swiftly mobilized his men to the scene and combed the vicinity. The statement also said the kidnappers' hideout was bust and they were dislodged, paving the way for the rescue of the victims unhurt. The Commissioner of Police, CP Shetima Jaro Mohammed, in a comment, lauded the officers for a job well done and urged them to sustain the onslaught against criminals. Operatives of the Adamawa State Police Command have arrested 3 youths around the state known as Sheila Boys, who are notorious for armed robbery. The command said on Sunday morning that the boys were rounded up as they were attacking and robbing individuals going to church for prayers. A statement signed by police image maker SP Suleiman Ngroje mentioned Bishop Street, Jimeta, as a scene of the incident, and items recovered from the suspects were machetes, knives, ATM cards, phones, and a tricycle. He said the arrest of the suspects and seizure of the items did not come easy as the suspects put up a fight in an effort to escape, adding that 3 of the suspects were arrested while 2 others escaped. About 148 terrorists have been killed during operations across various theaters in the last week, while 258 suspects were arrested, including 2 terrorist ammunition carriers identified as Danweri and Abubakar Hamza. The director of Defense Media Operations, Majen Edward Buba, who disclosed this in a statement, said the 2 ammunition carriers were arrested in Al-Kaleri local government area of Bauchi State. Buba also said the troops arrested 51 suspected oil thieves and recovered crude oil worth 798 million naira, and also said troops recovered 146 assorted weapons and 2,599 assorted ammunition. The statement also said between January and December 5th, 2024, a total of 8,034 terrorists were killed and 11,623 arrested during various operations across the country in 2024. General Officer commanding 3 Division and Commander of Operation Safe Haven, Major General A. Abubakar, officially unveiled the Maria Abiodun Lagbaja Recreational Park in Jos, Plateau State. A statement on the Nigerian Army's website on Sunday said the park is named in honor of the immediate past president of the Nigerian Army of Officers Wives Association, Maria Lagbaja, recognizing her outstanding contributions to the welfare of officers, soldiers, and their families, particularly within the 3 Division located at the Maxwell Kobe Cantonment in Jos. The park reportedly boasts an impressive array of attractions designed to enhance the quality of life for members of the barracks community with warmth and wonder. In his remarks during the grand opening ceremony, Major General Abubakar said the event also served to honor the legacy of the 23rd Chief of Army Staff, the late Lieutenant General T.A. Lagbaja, and highlighted the importance of the recreational park in fostering community spirit, encouraging physical activity, and providing relaxation and entertainment for service members and their families. You're watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return after this break.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Welcome back. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now the rest of our stories. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has called on President Bola Tinubu to direct the Code of Conduct Bureau to publish his declared assets and encourage Vice President Kashim Shettima, ministers, state governors, and National Assembly leaders to follow suit. A statement on Sunday and signed by SERAP's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari commended Tinubu for his recent statement during his first presidential media chat, in which he indicated that he might request the Code of Conduct Bureau to release his assets and also to indicate willingness and commitment to show leadership on matters of public interest. However, SERAP urged the president to act swiftly, stating that consideration would carry greater weight if promptly followed by directives, and highlighted the damaging effects of secrecy surrounding asset declarations by public officials, describing it as a major enabler of corruption across all levels of government. SERAP also linked transparency in assets declarations to the Supreme Court ruling on July 11, 2024, which barred state governors from taking over local government funds, and urged Tinubu to enforce the ruling. The group stressed the urgency of enforcing the ruling to reduce corruption and ensure public funds earmarked for local governments are used for essential services, and highlighted the broader implications of corruption, describing it as a fundamental threat to Nigeria's democracy, eroding public trust and worsening economic hardship. And now to some business reports. China and Nigeria have renewed a 15 billion yuan of $2 billion currency swap agreement aimed at enhancing trade and investment between the two nations. The arrangement is expected to bolster financial cooperation and promote the broader use of the yuan and naira in bilateral transactions. The renewal of the currency swap deal is anticipated to deepen economic ties, facilitate cross-border trade, and encourage investment by reducing reliance on third-party currencies such as the US dollar, the bank added. The currency swap framework was first established in May 2018 when the Central Bank of Nigeria and the People's Bank of China signed a deal valued at RMB 16 billion of about $2.5 billion. The agreement was signed by Godwin Emefiele, the suspended CBN governor, and Yi Bang, the former PBSC governor. And the initial deal was designed to enable industrialists and businesses in both countries to directly access the yuan and the naira, reducing the need for third-party currencies such as the US dollar. This is coming after, in September, President Bola Tinubu met with President Xi Jinping of China, and both leaders agreed to encourage flexible and diverse regional monetary and financial cooperation, such as local currency swaps, to facilitate trade between the two nations, while the leaders also discussed contributions to global financial stability through currency swap initiatives. With trade between Nigeria and China accounting for nearly 30% of Nigeria's total trade, both countries agreed to enhance international cooperation on financial intelligence, focusing on anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism. World Bank says inefficiencies in public spending area costing developing nations a significant portion of their investments, and Nigeria is among the developing nations of the world. The Global Bank disclosed this The report found that more than a third of public investment in emerging markets and developing economies is lost to inefficiencies, undermining potential economic growth and development, and explained that inefficient spending occurs when $1 of public investment does not result in an equivalent increase in productive public capital. In response, the World Bank urged governments in low and middle income countries to focus on improving the efficiency of public spending and recommend actions including adopting transparent procurement processes, establishing effective project monitoring and evaluation systems, and ensuring proper maintenance of infrastructure to extend its useful life. The financier recommended strategies such as enhancing domestic revenue mobilization, reallocating resources from inefficient subsidies, and implementing sound debt management frameworks that can help boost government's ability to invest in critical sectors like education, health, and infrastructure. Nigeria Labour Congress says the removal of the subsidy on premium motor spirits, popularly known as petrol, created more problems for the country. The spokesperson for the NLC, Benson Upa, who disclosed this while countering President Bola Tinubu's claims during his Monday presidential media chat with selected journalists in his Lagos residence, Tinubu said the nation was heading towards disaster if not for the removal of fuel subsidy, reiterating that he had no regrets about removing the support and stressed on the decision to secure Nigeria's financial future. President of the National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institution Employees, Anthony Abakpa, has called for the intervention of the National Assembly in improving the welfare of contract staff in the financial sector. Abakpa, who made the call, said that the International Labour Office described contract labor as covering all situations in which work is performed by a person who is not the worker's employer under labor law, but in conditions of subordination or dependency that are close to an employment relationship under that law. Abakwa said the high level of discrimination between permanent staff and outsourced staff should be revisited or looked into by the National Assembly, and also abolish the issue of contract staffing outsourcing in banks, insurance and other financial institutions in Nigeria. He said Sustainable Development Goal 8 aims to promote inclusive, sustainable and productive employment and decent work for all, and no hope with practices of contract employment and outsourcing in the country, and urged the government to beam their searchlight on this exploitation for better working conditions for Nigerian workers. The newbie boss called on Nigerian leaders to ensure that Nigerians get decent work in the country, adding that in some instances reviews are negotiated based on different parameters. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, as of the end of September 2020, 23 banks in Nigeria employed a total of 95,888 workers, out of which 40,382 of them were on a contract basis, while institutions covered in the employment statistics include commercial banks, merchant banks, and non-interest banks, adding that outsourcing in Nigerian banks can be traced to cost-cutting strategies, as well as employment workers through third-party agencies, banks, compensation, pensions, and other benefits. Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has clarified that recent sanctions imposed on 5 airlines were strictly related to consumer protection violations, not safety concerns. A statement in response to the report that 5 airlines were sanctioned by the agency said two weeks ago, NCAA's Director of Consumer Protection and Public Affairs, Michael Achimugu, had warned that airlines delaying passenger refunds beyond the stipulated time frame outlined in Part 19 of the NCAA Regulations 2023 would face sanctions. A week later, the regulatory agency announced enforcement actions against Royal Air Maroc Ethiopian Airways, Airpeace, Eric Air, and Aero Contractors, and the Acting Director General of the NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo, convened an emergency stakeholder meeting to address ongoing issues of flight delays and cancellations. At the meeting, he urged operators to align their operations with their available resources and treat consumer complaints with urgency. And while reacting to the sanctions, Chairman of Airpeace, Allen Oyema, expressed disappointment with the delays caused by some of his finance staff. He accepted that the NCAA's enforcement action, committing to improving the airline's response time to complaints, adding that the sanctions extended beyond consumer protection issues and stressed the NCAA's commitment to fairness to both the operators and passengers, and promised to be an unbiased umpire. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has destroyed over 120 billion naira worth of seized products between July and December 2024 across the 6 geopolitical zones and the Federal Capital Territory. The agency also reassured Nigerians that measures are in place to safeguard their health before, during, and after the Yuletide season. It disclosed this in the Yuletide message from NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, in a statement signed by the agency's resident media consultant, Sayo Akintola, on Sunday, and stressed the importance of eating safely during the festive period, and advised Nigerians to purchase foods and drinks from outlets with identifiable addresses to facilitate the agency's tracking processes. She cautioned against consuming medicines and packaged food products lacking NAFDAC registration numbers, adding that unusually cheap products are likely compromised, adding that the agency's investigation and enforcement directorate is continuing its mop-up of substandard and falsified medicines, as well as unwholesome food items from markets nationwide. The statement also said in December 2024 alone that the agency destroyed expired and unregistered drugs worth 11 billion naira in Ibadan, while counterfeit alcohol beverages and fake medicines worth billions of naira were seized in Lagos, and reiterated NAFDAC's commitment to ensuring that only safe, quality food products and medicines are available in the Nigerian market. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu has decried the increasing incidents of vandalism targeting critical power transmission equipment, which hindered the achievement of the ambitious goal to generate 6,000 megawatts of electricity by December 2024. He said the government had implemented measures to reach the milestone and was on track until multiple incidents of vandalism to electricity towers disrupted the plan. The Special Advisor on Strategic Communication and Media Relations, Bolaji Tunji, said Nigeria's power generation currently ranges between 4,000 MW and 4,900 MW from 19 power generation plants, serving a population of approximately 200 million people. Earlier this year, Adelabu pledged that power generation in Nigeria would reach 6,000 megawatts by the end of the year, citing improvements in the sector over the last year, adding that the frequent collapse of the nation's electricity grid and the vandalization of towers ultimately affected the stability of the electricity supply, hindering efforts to raise the country's power generation. The special advisor, who had expressed optimism about reaching the target in a meeting with journalists in November, stated that approximately 1,000 megawatts had been added since the current administration took office. As of November 2024, the Transmission Company of Nigeria said it had spent 8.8 billion naira to repair and restore 128 vandalized transmission towers across the country, and also mentioned another issue facing the sector: cash backing for subsidy payments, noting that only 450 billion naira was budgeted for the current year, while the debt incurred for subsidy payments amounted to 2.3 trillion naira. Peaks Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu. Television network still ahead. Jerusalem court hearing Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial has postponed hearings set for next week as Netanyahu undergoes a prostrate operation on Sunday, and the hearings will now be held on January 6 and subsequent days. Netanyahu is charged with fraud, embezzlement and bribery, and the accusations against him include that he granted the telecom giant Bezek privileges when he was communications minister. He is also said to have accepted luxury gifts from billionaire friends. While an initial hearing on December 10, he rejected the allegations as absurd, and it is the first time that an incumbent prime minister has stood trial in Israel. Netanyahu is expected to testify 3 times a week for about 2 months. Netanyahu underwent a test at Hadassah Hospital on Wednesday, where he was diagnosed with a urinary tract infection resulting from a benign prostate enlargement, and the operation is to take place under general anesthesia. PAL Airlines aircraft operating as Air Canada flight AC2259 executed an emergency landing at Halifax Airport, Canada, following a landing gear malfunction. The incident, which occurred during the landing, the plane skidded along the pavement, triggering panic among passengers on Sunday. Nikki Valentine, a passenger on board, recounted the harrowing experience, describing how the aircraft tilted approximately 20 degrees to the left, accompanied by a loud crash. Viral footage from the incident captured the aircraft's wings scraping the runway, causing a fire during the landing. Fortunately, no casualties were reported among passengers or crew, while the emergency landing at Halifax Airport ignited discussions on social media, with users drawing comparisons to a deadly incident in South Korea. A flight from Thailand to Muan International Airport crashed after veering off the runway and bursting into flames, resulting in 120 fatalities. Shark has attacked and killed a 40-year-old pastor who was fishing with his family in the waters of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The predator bit him on the neck on Saturday afternoon off Humpy Island on the country's east coast, adding that a report would be prepared for the coroner. A Queensland ambulance spokeswoman on Sunday said that he died at the scene after sustaining a significant life-threatening wound to his neck. Community leaders spoke of their distress at the loss of Luke Walford, a youth pastor at the Cathedral of Praise Church in the central Queensland town of Rockhampton, who had posted photos on social media of himself in a wetsuit during a previous fishing trip. Was believed to have been spearfishing at the time of the attack. Passenger plane with 181 people on board crashed in the South Korean city of Muan on Sunday and killed many. The plane Jeju Air, which had a malfunctioning landing gear, veered off the runway, hit a fence before going up in flames at the airport. The Jeju Air jetliner was carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew when it crashed on landing at the airport in Muan County. The ill-fated plane was returning from Bangkok in Thailand when the incident occurred, and South Korean media said the fire left over 28 people either dead or injured, while the 2 were evacuated to safety. While South Jeolla Province Fire Service headquarters said the number is expected to grow as recovery operations continue, adding that the fire was put out when rescue officials were trying to improve passengers from the aircraft. However, a fire department official said the airplane had been almost completely destroyed by fire. Manchester United legend Rio Ferdinand has claimed that Lamine Yamal is better than Lionel Messi was at his age. The 17-year-old Yamal is now of the most prominent players for Barcelona, adding that he is a product of Barca's La Masia Youth Academy. Yamal played his first game for Barca senior team in a La Liga game in April 2023 and quickly rose to become a regular starter for Barca at an early age, adding that his immaculate ball control, dribbling and playmaking capabilities have led to comparisons with Messi. Ferdinand said the young star influences matches, decisive and even score goals while playing beautiful football. Popular American rapper Ojimeko is dead. The singer died of gunshot injury on Thursday at 32. This is coming after Ojimeko has been hospitalized on December 12th after suffering a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was reportedly found in his home unresponsive and had been on life support in the intervening period. The singer's family announced his passage on his Instagram post. The family said his life was a testament to resilience, creativity, and boundless love. And that's the size of the package for today. Thanks for joining us. I am Francis Neka.